Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Ashley and this is Martin Midlife Misadventures, and today is Flour It Up Day and we're going to make some soft pretzels. Yes, we are. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't made soft pretzels in over 20 years. But I have made them before, and they're not that difficult. I pulled a recipe for these. I believe it was from allrecipes.com. So we're going to give this recipe a try, and I'm so incredibly excited because I am craving them. Are you ready? Let's flour it up. All right, here are our ingredients. We need 1.5 cups of warm water. That's what we're going to bloom our yeast with, so not too hot, okay? Never over 110 to 20 degrees. 4.5 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of salt, plus we're going to use some of the sea salt on the top of them when we're done, but you could use regular salt instead. We are going to need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You could actually use olive oil if you preferred, but it will change the flavor just slightly. You can use 1 packet of yeast or 2.5 teaspoons of instant yeast. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of sugar, and we're going to need 3/4 a cup of baking soda. Now this is going to be for the blanching process before we bake the pretzels, okay? So you'll need a pot with some boiling water as well. First thing I'm going to do is get all the flour, everything ready in the mixing bowl. All right, inside my bowl, I have 4.5 cups of flour and I did add my 1 tablespoon of salt. I have my 1 tablespoon of sugar right here in the center. I'm making a little well because I'm going to go ahead and add my 2.5 teaspoons of instant yeast, or you could just use 1 packet, okay? So there's 2.5. Now we're going to take our 1.5 cups of warm water and dump that right in the center, just like that. We're just going to let it sit for a second. Now I always start the process with my little spatula here. I want to make sure all that yeast gets mixed in there well. We're going to mix this to a shaggy dough. Then we're going to add our oil and mix it by hand. That's looking pretty good. So clear off your little spatula here. I'm using a glove today because I just don't feel like having to wash all this dough off of my hands. It can be very, very messy. Here's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Now with the oil, this is going to depend on the moisture that's in your air at that time. It is extremely cold and dry here, so we may or may not need to add a little more. Let's just get kneading. And it is ready. It is smooth. I can touch it, I can pull it. It does not stick to me, so I know that it's ready. We're going to slightly oil this pan. Make a ball. Add a little oil in the bottom. Swish it around. There you go. You want it pretty well oiled. We are going to cover this. I actually have a lid that fits this. If you don't, you can put a tea towel over it. You just want to make sure it's in a slightly warm place. We are looking for this to double in size, and that should take about an hour. Our dough is ready. Would you look at that? Beautiful, beautiful, more than double in size. Since I have such a small oven, and those of you who have a regular size oven, you can do all this at once. I can only do half at a time because, you know, I literally have like a little toaster oven. So I'm going to cut this in half. The other half, I'm just going to make back into a ball. Get the cover back on it. And when I'm ready to do my second batch, it should be fine in here. Now for this, we're going to make it into a little ball here. We're going to cut this one into 4 pieces. So cut it in half. Make each one into a ball. Our first one, we're just going to go ahead and get it into a ball. It always just helps to start with a nice ball shape. And now we're going to roll them out. I think it's going to be best just to get it started in your hand, just like you're playing with Play-Doh, okay? And now we're going to roll them long and thin. We do that by starting in the middle, slightly pressing down, and then pulling our fingers outward. When you get a bulgy spot like this, just go to that spot, and we'll start working that spot out. We want to get these long. All right, once you have a nice long strip, we're going to make the pretzel shape. Let me see if I can get this good for you on camera. Okay, stretch out your deal, and you make like a heart. You see that? You just twist them, and you press them down in here. Now you can make a twist in the center, like that, and press them down, and then you can pull out. Mine's not that pretty. We'll do another one. We'll just set that aside. Alright, this one's a little longer, a little better, but you'll see it'll have like uneven parts of it. But let's try this one. Okay, we're going to cross them. Going to twist them. So we get that twist in the middle. Amy would be so much better at this. It's kind of like braiding. She's a better braider than me. There's our second one. All right, let me get the rest of these done, and we'll get our water boiling. Our water's really starting to come to a good simmer. It should be boiling soon. So I'm going to go ahead and add in our 2/3 cup of baking soda. See how it sizzles like that? That's perfectly fine. I have this little spoon here. I'm just going to give it a quick stir. We now have what we're looking for. It is starting to boil. See how it's boiling? So we're going to take one of our little guys. We're going to put them in here. We're going to let them boil in here 45 seconds to 1 minute on each side. Okay, I think this one's ready. I need to make the next ones a little thinner. They're still going to be delicious. Let's get that one flipped. Get another one in. Okay, I have 1 egg in here and just a splash of water. Just a little splash of water. It thins it out, so you're not apt to get some like scrambled eggs on top of here. And I want to add that these are feeling cool enough. You don't want to egg wash something if they're piping hot, because your eggs will scramble on top of there. All right, now our first batch, I'm just going to go ahead and brush pretty liberally on the egg wash. And once you have them all brushed like this, this is when you can start applying toppings. Now, if you wanted to make these sweet, you could now dust them with cinnamon sugar, instead of the sea salt. But I'm going to just use this little grinder and grind a little salt. And that is it. Into the oven at 450 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. There we go. Into my little oven. Show you when they're done. Ooh, this first batch is almost done. They really grew together and look puffy. I like the way they look, but I'm going to do the next batch smaller. So I'm cutting each one in half, and we're going to make 8 from this half rather than 4. I've got my water bubbling right here. All right, we better get these out real quick because I got to get those flipped. And these have taken about 14 minutes. Oh my goodness. See how they grew together like that and there's not the holes? They still look delicious. We're going to let these cool for a minute and we'll get the other ones ready. All right, friends, here is the whole lot. These 3 in front were the last ones I did, and instead of the salt, I put cinnamon sugar on them. They smell amazing. And here are all the rest of them. Now what I've decided are these giant ones, because they're pretty much together, I'm going to cut them in half like a bun, and I'm going to make us an egg sandwich with some cheese and maybe some roast beef. That'll make a great pretzel bun. But look at the rest of them. I think they don't look that bad. I'm telling you, it's been decades. Over 20 years since I've made homemade pretzels, and I'm impressed with them. Let's give Amy a test, though. I'm sure she's going to be excited. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready? You're out of breath, huh? Amy's been outside cutting, chopping wood.
Oh, this is going to be a good treat. Okay, I want to do it without mustard.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good little crunch.
Mmm.
Is it so good?
That is so good.
Is it?
Mmm. Mmm.
Did you try it with mustard?
I did just now. Oh my gosh, that is so good.
I'm so glad.
Mmm.
What is that in your hand?
I'm having another one.
Her second one, back to back, guys. And I took a bite. They are delicious.
It's so good. You guys got to do it.
All right, friends, how about those pretzels? Oh my goodness, I had one. They are so delicious. They might not look the prettiest, but they taste authentic and delicious. And I have to share this with you. See this parchment paper? Yeah. One of them I pulled off, and the whole parchment paper came with it. So you might want to spray your parchment before you put down your pretzels. I think it has to do with them being boiled first and the dough being kind of sticky. Anyway, I really, really hope you'll give this recipe a try. I am definitely going to do it again, and I'm going to do the smaller pretzels, but I'm excited because we're going to use those larger ones as buns for our dinner tonight. So it worked out really good. All right, everybody. Keep practicing, keep trying to make things from scratch, save yourself some money, control the ingredients that are going into your food, and you're going to be a happier you all the way around, I promise you. All right, everybody, we are going to be talking to you really soon. God bless you.